Hello once again YouTube, I am Mike Roadway. On today's video I am going over my favorite driving route here on the beautiful island of Oahu. I've lived here for over 3 years, about 3 years and 3 months, and in that time I've driven just about everywhere on the island, and I can tell you that there aren't plentiful areas to drive. There is an enormous amount of traffic, but what I have collected is the best driving route that not only is enjoyable for you to drive a car. Say you go onto one of these online websites and you rent one of these high-speed cars. Maybe you're just coming here just to have an adventure, you rent a van, whatever it is. I've orchestrated a very, very simple route that takes maybe 3 hours, maybe more. It depends how much time you want to spend. And you will end up seeing the most epic views on this island that are attainable and reachable by car. Let's get to it. Okay, YouTube, without further ado, let's get to the route. So what you can see on the screen right now is the entire island of Oahu, north, south, east to west. Not a very robust island, but boy is it filled with some goodies, chock full with it. So in this lower right corner is my route. So it looks kind of like a lopsided, maybe hibernating figure eight. But what this is actually a little back and forth, a little bit here and there, and all the best of the overpasses to see these beautiful views that are reachable by car. So anyway, where we're going to start out, most of you, if you're touristing to the area, are either going to stay in this area here in Kapolei. So that's where the majority of the very robust big hotels are. It's a little bit quieter, it's a little bit more family friendly compared to the other area which you may be coming from, which is this Honolulu area, the famous Waikiki, and so forth. All right, so without further ado, let's get to the route. So if you start here in Honolulu or you're over here in Kapolei, you are going to drive Kapolei. You would come the H1 straight over this way, and if you are in Waikiki area, you're going to take the H1 or the H201 and get to this junction on the very, very gorgeous must-see road, the H3. So if you didn't know Hawaii, they are very, very clever with their names on the highways. They have 3 major highways, the H1, the H2, and the H3. So like I said, very clever. So you're going to come from the east or the west, whatever way, and you're going to get on the 3, and you're going to start driving. And you're going to start driving, and you're going to start driving, and you're going to start driving. Now where this is going to get to the point where you're like, hey, that guy on YouTube makes sense, and thank you for the little intelligence offering, is as you come into these gigantic mountains, and you're going to see what I'm talking about. And what I'm talking about is some of the most amazing views. You're going to approach a very long tunnel, about a mile long. And then when you get through this tunnel, you are going to see from your car, it's not a place that you can stop, but from your car, one of the most epic, amazing views on this entire island. So when you're driving through the tunnel, just be sure, I think the speed limit is 45. Go 45, maybe go a little bit slower as long as you're not going to make somebody else angry behind you. Go a little slower and just enjoy the ride. As the moment you get through that tunnel, you've got maybe 2 or 3 minutes of just incredible views where you see the Marine base all the way, basically on the other side of the earth. You can see forever. Take it in, and then as you curve from that area, you get to see the very rigid mountains that are just so unique to Hawaii. It's very surreal and very enjoyable. So here we are, and you're gonna come through, you go through the tunnel, and when you pop out, you see that amazing view. And then you're gonna start getting closer to Kaneohe. You're gonna curve around on the H3. You're gonna pass one of the most popular sites on the east side of the island, which is the Botanical Garden. So this is up to you. You can go ahead and stop at the Botanical Garden on this route. We will be backtracking here later, and I would recommend maybe wrapping up your day at the Botanical Garden. But you can see this is one of the most Instagrammed photos or areas on all of Oahu, in my opinion. People stand here, they never look at the camera. I don't get that. They look off into space like they're surprised by something. But yep, that's the spot, the Botanical Gardens. So you've got that. You got some other little items of interest. This is the actual mountain range. You don't need to stop at this particular overview. You'll be fine. Keep going, and you're going to take this exit, which is the Kamehameha Highway. Take this exit, so you're going to be heading right, and then you're going to hit a little three-way intersection. So at this intersection, obviously you can go left or right. The elongated route, the route that I prefer to take when I've got, good solid 3 hours with stops, I'm gonna go right. And this is what you need to do, especially if you rent yourself a sports car. So you're gonna go right, and what this two-dimensional map doesn't show is that this is a hill climb, and you're going right back up. Essentially, it's exactly going over the same mountain range that you just crossed, coming over with the H3. But you have this mega hairpin turn. It's like 35 miles an hour, not a lot of folks on it, so do as you choose. But you really get to feel the handling of a car if you go up this way. There we go. It's the Poly Highway, FYI. And you're gonna cruise, and you can really go through. There's a bunch of tunnels on this. It's really exciting. Trust me. It's really exciting. And then as you come across, you get through all the tunnels, and there's this little urgent right turn. It's almost hidden, but it's right here. And you're gonna turn right, and it's this itty-bitty little access road that is typically filled with hundreds of chickens. So if you're from an area that you don't see a lot of feral wild chickens, this is gonna be your time to shine. You're gonna have a good time. So anyway, you go through this little access road, and then you go into the Poly Lookout. And we've got, I'd say, 3 just absolutely epic views. Everything's epic here in Hawaii as far as these views. It's a beautiful place. But there are 3 in particular that this route takes, and the Poly Lookout is the first one on this route. You do have to pay for parking if you go through at a busier time. There's going to be a parking agent there, so watch out. You'll get a ticket. I think the tickets are, over $100, or you can just pay like $15 and you're safe. You also can do an enormous amount of hikes. There's a lot of historical facts. There's things about pilots and World War II history from the Poly Lookout. So you're not going to spend like an entire day there, but if you want to hike, you can soak up some times. If you just want to stop like I do on my little tours, I just go, I soak in the views, I enjoy it. I read a couple of the signs, and then I move along. So as we keep going, you're going to go down the 61, and you're actually going back in to Honolulu. So if you guys want to stop at these little stops, that's your prerogative. I would say there are more exciting things to stop at, so go ahead and bypass. So you'll take the 61 all the way to Hawaii's first highway, which is, like I said, the H1. Very clever. So when you get to the H1, you're going to head back east. Very important. Just remember east or west. Here you're going to go back east, and you're going to come this direction. And you're going to go through kind of a densely populated area of Honolulu. It's nothing like being in Waikiki or anything like that. So it will be low stress, especially if you're in the early part of the day. So very important to note, you don't want to do this trip like at 9 o'clock in the morning on a weekday or between 3 and 6 on a weekday in the afternoon. You will be jumbled up in traffic. If you want to do something like this, I typically leave my house, which is a little bit north of the H2 interchange with the H1. I usually leave at like 5:30 or 6 in the morning, and that way I see the sunrise and it's beautiful. Best thing to do is save your driving tour for a Saturday or a Sunday, and that way you can stay out of the commuter traffic, which, if you haven't heard by now, it is terrible on Hawaii. So, FYI, I should be specific. On Oahu, terrible. So here we go. You're coming through this kind of busier area. Here's the famous Diamond Head. So you gotta book that hike. Gotta book it. Book it ahead of time. You get to pull your car right into this dormant volcano right in the middle of it where it exploded. And it's one of the nicest hikes that, frankly, I mean, unless you're really kind of debilitated or something like that, this is a great hike, great for kids and things like that. And it's beautiful. You see the whole city. So anyway, you're going to keep going through the H1, and you're going to kind of approach H1. There's going to be some stoplights here. Be patient though. And you are going to come across this little area here. So this is Hawaii Kai up here. And depending on your timing, if you want to do lunch, I've got a brewery that's right here on the water that is it's my favorite spot. And they have baked chicken wings. They don't have fryers. They are baked chicken wings, and I tell you what, they're fantastic. Excellent beer, but no drinking and driving, please, of course. So you move along on 72, and if you want to stop here, there's also a coffee shop, popular one. Get yourself rearmed and refit, and then you are going to see on your left Cocoa Head District Park. So Cocoa Head is the very famous staircase, stairway to heaven types of things. And a lot of people challenge it. If you want to add that into your itinerary, don't do it on the driving trip because this will destroy you. I promise. It'll destroy you. That's something for a morning and then spend the rest of the day at your resort in the pool. Don't do this on your driving trip. You can stop. There is right here. You can see there is a little lookout, so the Hawaii Kai lookout. You can stop, you look at a beautiful scene of the city, and you're going to see Cocoa Head. You can see some people destroying their physical lives going up Cocoa Head, and very accessible, so nice. Also in this area, and it's probably going to be very backed up in traffic, is I'm probably going to butcher the pronunciation here, the Hanauma Bay. That's that good. This is the most popular snorkeling area. So you're not going to be stopping here unless you want to, but on the driving tour, you're going to keep going. And here comes the most, I'd say like a view from a car. This is tough to beat. So you're going to approach here, and this corner is one of the most incredible, like almost vertigo ensuing views on this trip, because as you approach this curve, you're just looking out over the ocean. You've got this giant mountain to your left, and then as you turn left, it reveals my personal favorite view of the entire island. Now, it's such a shame that you're not allowed to stop at the top. I think you can hike up it, I believe. You just can't park cars, but just go very slowly around that corner, super slow, and just take it in. And as you continue on 72, you'll hit this lookout right here, the Lanai lookout, and go ahead and take a park, because this is a beautiful place. You can see it on these photos. I mean, just striking. Absolutely incredible views. And you can look back up where you came, and you can look down the road. It's really the most quote-unquote canyonous area of Oahu. just striking. I love this area of the island. It's my personal favorite to drive. And then to get back onto actually driving your car, if you get something more sports oriented, or if you really want to push the limits of your minivan, this doesn't look so curvy here on the map. But when you get driving on the road, I mean, there are some tight curves. You do have to be very, very careful. If you're there and it's a busy part of time, there are going to be tourists hiking back and forth on the road, and you can see bicyclists. So definitely don't do anything crazy like breaking the speed limit unless you're just very, very early in the morning and you've already kind of reconned the area. Like, just follow the rules, do the speed, and you'll be okay. The curves are so tight, you'll have fun in whatever you're doing at the speed limit. Okay, so we got the lava tube. We got the corner. We're going to keep going up, keep going up. You're going to drive, and this is just a beautiful coastal journey. So you can't go wrong, going fast or slow. Beautiful place. You're going to come out to what a lot of the tourist websites say is a must-see on Oahu, like the blowhole. I've been here 3 years. You got to trust me. You can pass right by this. So definitely don't stop at the blowhole. It's going to be incredibly busy. All the tour buses stop there. It's a nightmare to get in and out, and you don't see anything. If you really want to see something scenic about the blowhole, continue on up here to Sandy Beach. There's plenty of parking. You don't have to pay for it. Come here to Sandy Beach and then walk down the Sandy Beach. I don't know. I mean, I guess some beaches aren't sandy in New England or something, but go ahead and walk up here. And then when you get to this area of the beach, you can take some very, very great shots of the blowhole area. If you want to, I would say just pass on, because the next view is going to be epic. So here we are. We're going to keep driving. You're going to enjoy this coastal drive. Maybe you got a convertible and you like it. And you're going to kind of cut through. The roads get a little choppy. And you're going to see, in my opinion, once again, the most popular trail to do here on Oahu, which is the Makapu'u Point and the Lighthouse Hike, commonly referred to as the Lighthouse Hike. So this hike is very popular. While it's extremely steep for about the first half of the hike, it is completely paved. So if you have folks that are in wheelchairs, or you just don't want to like twist ankles and get dirty and things like that, this is it's a sidewalk essentially, but be prepared. There is some steepness to it. The greatness of this trail, though, is the view at the top, and my goodness, is it good. When it comes to actually going in your car, obviously a car is not going to be able to go up on the hike. But what the car can do, instead of going all the way up at the top, this is like a super, super tall, steep mountain. You can go to the Makapu'u Lookout, and you can reach this by car. So you're only allowed to park there for about, 15 or 20 minutes, something like that. And there's usually police there enforcing that and making sure your cars don't get broken into. Please do not leave a purse or a wallet or an iPad or anything else in your car, because you're going to come back to a car with a broken window. It's just the way it is. But anyway, you don't have to worry about it if you don't leave stuff out. So you drive up to the Makapu'u Lookout, you pull right in. I have never been there where there wasn't a space available, so very, very convenient. There's no tour buses that can fit there, so this is a good place to go. So you pull in and then just soak in the views, and I tell you what, I spend the most time on my daily drives just soaking in this particular view, because there is nothing quite like it on this earth. Just outstanding. Take the family photos, help some other people, because there's going to be probably 25 to 50 tourists in the same area. Take their photos, have a good time, chat it up. It's a good place to be. So once you get settled and all set out of the Makapu'u Lookout, you're going to drive just slightly down, and this is like an option for you. As you go down, this is a beautiful curvy area that you can really just like feel the handling in a car. You come around, you're going to see a little pull off to the right. You can stop there. It's one of my favorite places to stop, but since you just kind of stopped and saw the same thing, you don't have to, but a little optional stop. You're going to go by the made famous by Adam Sandler Sea Life Park. So he was in that in his 51st Dates movie that was filmed here. Well, a lot of it was filmed here on Oahu. And you'll continue on, once again, just like soaking up these incredible views. You've got all these islands that are just gorgeous to see outside your windows. This coastal drive, you keep going, you keep going, you keep going. And then as you get closer, this is an option I'm going to throw into your trip here. So my family and I's favorite beach on this entire island is called Bellows. So maybe a lot of tourists don't know because it says Bellows Air Force Base or Air Force Station on a lot of this. There you go, Bellows Air Force Station. But if you do this trip on a weekend, this is the trick on a weekend, you can actually access, along with all the public folks that are on this island, you can come through Tinker Road, come all the way across, and you can actually relax at Bellows all the way up until the gate at Bellows Air Force Station, which is kind of right over a bridge in this area is the gate. So you don't have to go on the little station, but all before this on the weekends, this is very important, on the weekends, you can go ahead and you can go here. And when I say it has some amazing views, like take a look at this. I mean, this is straight out of a movie and there is nothing like it. The surf is relaxed, so it's kind of like a boogie boarding beach. This is not a surfing beach, even though you might on a lucky day be able to do something. If you're paranoid about bad things in the water, as long as you're not in the jellyfish time, which is about 10 days after a full moon, very, very, very rare. In fact, I don't even know if there's ever been like attacks from sharks in that thing. So I don't want to jinx you, but yeah, very, very safe place, very beautiful place. And it's relatively a quiet beach compared to the others, certainly more quiet than Waikiki. So if you're looking for that special spot just to walk up and down and enjoy the scenery, Bellows is the place for you. Just make sure it's on a weekend. So back to it, on the little road trip, maybe you got some pictures at Bellows, maybe you keep going. You're just going to drive through and you're going to go through some smaller towns on Oahu and you can stop. There's gas, there's fast food restaurants and things like that. And where you're ultimately going to end up is you're going to take a left on 72. You're going to get back onto 61, which you were on earlier. And then you're going to take a right back on Kamehameha Highway and get yourself back on the H3. So you might be wondering, why, oh, why would I go on the H3? I've already seen the H3. Well, the trick with the H3 is it's gorgeous going towards the east where you get to see that incredible view of the entire eastern seaboard of the island. When you're going east to west, now you're going into this just unreal experience of driving through a mountain, because now you go from sea level and you're climbing on this amazing bridge and it feels like you're on top of the world. And then you go back through the tunnel and then sure enough, you're going to end up going right back to your interchange with the H3 to the H1. And then it's your prerogative on what you want to do after that. So you can return to base and get back to your hotels in Waikiki. You can go back to your hotels back over on the Ko'olina side. You've got a few other options. This is a really nice place. There's, where is the museum here? Nope, community center. Yeah, there's a museum over here somewhere. There we go. The Bishop Museum, if you're in the Hawaii area. This is a nice place. So you get the Bishop Museum. If you did make reservations for Pearl Harbor, so Pearl Harbor is here. So your little push-off point is going to be over here in this area. And there we go. There's the memorial. So if your tickets line up, I wouldn't, if you have something for Pearl Harbor, just make sure it's later in the day at like 3 or 4 o'clock, because allow yourself not to be stressed during the day going on this driving tour. So anyway, that wraps up what I consider to be the best driving route on all of the island of Oahu here in Hawaii. So if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, if you guys need any more travel tips, that's what my channel is about, travel tips, and then, you know, some things just about my little cars. So feel free to post up. And as always, if you do like what you see here and you want to see more, please hit the like button and then subscribe. I'll be posting up a lot of things, and I've got some very, very exciting trips coming up next year, perhaps even later this year. So anyway, thank you once again for tuning in, and I really appreciate it. And as always, drive on.